Tired of watching your retirement savings evaporate while home prices skyrocket? What if I told you that in the French countryside, stunning stone houses with centuries of history are selling for less than a luxury car? Today, we're uncovering 8 forgotten regions where $40,000 can buy you a slice of paradise that locals are abandoning, but savvy retirees are discovering. And number 2, it might just change everything you thought you knew about retirement living. 8. The Limousin region, where time stands still. Picture this: morning mist rising from emerald meadows, the gentle lowing of cattle in the distance, and your own centuries-old stone cottage overlooking rolling hills that stretch to the horizon. Welcome to Limousin, France's best-kept secret. This is where urban French families once escaped for summer holidays. Now, the younger generation has fled to Lyon and Paris, leaving behind architectural treasures that would cost millions anywhere else. A 3-bedroom granite farmhouse with original oak beams, $35,000. A village house with a walled garden and mountain views, $28,000. Properties that have stood since the 1600s, built to last another 400 years, are practically being given away. Your monthly living costs here read like a fantasy. Electricity and heating run about $120 per month, even in winter. Fresh bread from the village baker costs $1.20. A hearty 3-course meal at the local auberge, $18. Property taxes on that $35,000 home, just $400 per year. The French healthcare system covers you completely once you establish residency. A doctor's visit costs $28. And specialists rarely exceed $50. With your Carte Vitale health card, prescriptions are heavily subsidized. That medication costing $200 in America, here, it's $15. Safety isn't even a conversation in these villages. Crime statistics show rates so low, they barely register. The biggest concern is whether the village baker remembered to stock enough croissants for Sunday morning. English speakers are welcomed warmly. Locals are often eager to practice their English with friendly foreigners. When Margaret, a retired teacher from Oregon, bought her Limousin cottage for $32,000, her neighbors thought she was crazy to leave America. 2 years later, her $1,800 monthly pension covers all her expenses with $600 to spare. "I wake up to church bells instead of sirens," she says. "My stress just disappeared." 7. Auvergne, volcanic landscapes, volcanic prices. Imagine owning a home where ancient volcanic peaks pierce the sky like sleeping giants, where thermal springs bubble up from the earth, and where your backyard could be a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Auvergne offers all this, and the price tags will shock you. The Puy-de-Dôme region, with its dramatic volcanic landscape, feels like another planet. Stone houses built from local lava rock blend seamlessly into hillsides dotted with crater lakes. These aren't just homes, they're geological wonders with addresses. A 4-bedroom house with volcanic stone walls and panoramic views of the Chaîne des Puys, $38,000. A village house with a garden backing onto a nature reserve, $25,000. Properties here aren't just affordable, they're practically paying you to take them. Living costs remain delightfully low. Monthly utilities average $100. Local markets overflow with regional specialties. Cantal cheese for $8 per wheel. Fresh trout from mountain streams for $12 per kilo. Dining out at family-run restaurants costs $15 to $20 for multi-course meals featuring local ingredients. The thermal spas that attracted Romans 2,000 years ago still operate today. As a resident, you'll pay $25 for treatments that cost $200 elsewhere. The mineral-rich waters are said to cure everything from arthritis to stress. And honestly, living here cures most ailments anyway. Healthcare access rivals Paris. The regional hospital in Clermont-Ferrand is just an hour away, with specialists in emergency services. Local doctors make house calls for elderly patients, a practice that disappeared from most of the world decades ago. Village life moves at the pace of the seasons. Weekly markets, summer festivals celebrating local cheeses, and neighbors who still bring soup when you're sick. The Auvergne dialect adds musical tones to conversations. But French and even English are understood everywhere. Safety statistics place Auvergne among France's most secure regions. The The biggest crime wave involves teenagers spray painting the occasional barn. Most residents leave doors unlocked and keys in cars, habits that would be unthinkable in major cities. 6. Creuse, the department everyone forgot. Hidden in the heart of France lies Creuse, a department so overlooked that even the French forget it exists. For retirees seeking absolute tranquility, this oversight is a golden opportunity. Dawn breaks over valleys where mist clings to chestnut forests, and stone bridges span crystal-clear rivers. Medieval villages crown hilltops, their narrow streets echoing with footsteps instead of car engines. This is Creuse, where history whispers instead of shouts. The housing market here defies logic. A fully renovated 3-bedroom house with period features, $32,000. A cottage with half an acre and river frontage, $28,000. Stone barns suitable for conversion start at $8,000. These aren't ruins. They're livable homes that time forgot. Monthly expenses barely register on American scales. Electricity runs $90 per month, even heating the whole house. Internet service costs $30 for high-speed fiber. Property insurance for your $30,000 home? $180 per year. Local property taxes hover around $350 annually. The weekly markets burst with regional produce at prices that seem misplaced by a decimal point. Farm fresh eggs cost $2.50 per dozen. Walnut oil from local trees sells for $8 per liter. A whole free-range chicken costs less than a coffee shop latte in New York. Medical care maintains France's legendary standards. The local hospital serves 3 departments and maintains full emergency services. Specialists travel from larger cities for weekly clinics. Prescription costs rarely exceed $20. And many medications are completely free for residents over 65. English penetration varies, but kindness translates universally. Locals appreciate any effort to speak French, no matter how broken. Village celebrations include newcomers immediately. You'll be invited to harvest festivals before you've unpacked. Crime doesn't exist in any meaningful sense. Police reports consist mainly of lost pets and boundary disputes between farmers. The gendarmerie often doubles as tourist information, helping visitors find the best hiking trails. When Robert, a retired accountant from Manchester, moved to a Creuse village, his biggest adjustment was the silence. No traffic, no sirens, no construction noise, just birds and the occasional church bell. It took 3 months to stop listening for city sounds that never came. 5. Creuse, France's empty quarter. Welcome to Creuse, France's least populated department and retirement's best-kept secret. Here, depopulation has created a buyer's market that borders on the absurd, while quality of life soars inversely to population density. Morning arrives with a symphony of birdsong across endless countryside, where stone farmhouses sit like islands in seas of green. Ancient oak trees shelter properties that have weathered centuries, waiting patiently for new caretakers who appreciate their timeless beauty. The numbers are almost laughable. A 4-bedroom manor house with original features and 10 acres, $45,000. A village house with a walled garden and workshop, $18,000. Barn conversions start at $12,000. These aren't distressed sales. They're architectural gems in a market where demand has simply evaporated. Daily living costs reflect the department's rural character. Monthly utilities average $85. Fresh bread from the traveling baker costs $1. Farmers sell lamb directly from their fields for $8 per kilo. Restaurant meals at family establishments run $12 to $15 for 3 courses with a local wine included. The famous French healthcare system operates seamlessly even here. Mobile medical units visit smaller villages weekly. The departmental hospital provides full services, and helicopter ambulances ensure emergency access to specialist centers. Prescription drugs follow national pricing, essentially free for retirees. Internet connectivity surprises newcomers. France's fiber initiative reached rural areas first, meaning your $20,000 cottage likely has faster internet than central London. Mobile coverage spans the department, keeping you connected to the world when desired. Social isolation concerns prove unfounded. Communities actively recruit new residents. Village councils organize integration events. Local associations welcome members. Whether you're interested in hiking, crafts, or simply learning to play pétanque with the locals, crime statistics read like typos. Annual reports list stolen bicycles and unauthorized mushroom picking as major incidents. Most homes never lock their doors. Car keys remain in ignitions. The concept of home security systems seems absurd when your nearest neighbor waves from half a mile away. If this sounds perfect so far, consider hitting subscribe. It really supports the channel and helps us uncover more hidden gems like these. 4. Indre, the Berry region's sleeping beauty. Step into Indre, where George Sand once wrote her novels, and where chateaux sleep peacefully among forests that seem painted by Impressionist masters. This is Berry country, where literary history meets affordable reality. Sunrise paints medieval villages in honey-colored light, where half-timbered houses lean companionably against each other along cobblestone lanes. Rivers meander through water meadows, where herons stand motionless, waiting for unwary fish. Time moves differently here, more gently, more thoughtfully. Property prices reflect decades of rural decline. A beautifully restored village house with 3 bedrooms and period details, $35,000. A cottage with riverside gardens and fishing rights, $28,000. Even small chateaux occasionally surface for under $100,000, the price of a garage in San Francisco. Living expenses follow rural patterns. Heating costs average $110 monthly, even during harsh winters. Local markets offer regional specialties. Goat cheese from Valenquais for $6, fresh river fish for $10 per kilo. Village restaurants serve traditional berry cuisine for $16 to $18 per meal. Healthcare maintains urban standards despite rural settings. The regional hospital in Châteauroux provides comprehensive services, including cardiac and orthopedic specialists. Local doctors still make house calls for elderly patients. Emergency services respond quickly across the sparsely populated department. English fluency varies, but literary culture creates appreciation for foreign languages. Many locals studied English literature in school and welcome opportunities to discuss books and culture. Village libraries often stock English titles, donated by previous foreign residents. Safety remains a non-issue. Crime reports resemble rural comedies more than serious police matters. Neighbors watch each other's properties naturally, not from suspicion, but from genuine community care. Children walk alone to school, and elderly residents stroll village streets after dark without concern. The cultural richness surprises many newcomers. Literary festivals celebrate the region's artistic heritage. Chateau visits and classical concerts provide sophisticated entertainment. Museums showcase everything from medieval manuscripts to contemporary art, all within easy driving distance of your affordable countryside home. When Patricia, a retired librarian from Toronto, discovered Indre, she initially came for the George Sand connection. 3 years later, living in a $32,000 cottage overlooking the Indre River, she's become the village's unofficial English teacher and couldn't imagine living anywhere else. 3. Allier, where Bourbon dukes once ruled. Enter the domain of former Bourbon royalty, where chateau towers pierce morning mists and thermal springs have bubbled for millennia. Allier offers aristocratic settings at peasant prices, if you can believe such a combination exists. Picture medieval moulins, where cathedral spires reflect in the peaceful Allier River, surrounded by countryside so perfectly French, it seems designed by a Hollywood set decorator. Forest paths wind between villages, where stone crosses mark ancient pilgrim routes, and every view could grace a romantic postcard. The real estate market here defies international trends. A renovated manor house with period features and parkland, $42,000. A village house with walled gardens and original tilework, $25,000. Properties that house nobility now welcome middle-class retirees with modest savings but excellent taste. Monthly living costs read like historical fiction. Utilities average $95 per month. Local markets sell Charolais beef for $12 per kilo. Regional wines for $8 per bottle. Restaurants serving traditional Bourbonnais cuisine charge $18 to $20 for elaborate meals that would cost $80 in comparable American settings. The thermal spa tradition continues today. Vichy's famous springs operate alongside smaller local spas, offering treatments at resident rates. A week of thermal therapy costs $150, less than a single spa day in major cities. The mineral waters genuinely help arthritis and circulation issues that plague many retirees. Medical facilities exceed expectations for such a rural department. The Vichy Hospital provides sophisticated care, while local practitioners maintain the French tradition of thorough, unhurried consultations. Specialists visit from Lyon regularly, bringing urban expertise to rural settings. Cultural life flourishes despite, or perhaps because of, the quiet setting. Music festivals fill summer evenings with classical and folk performances. Art galleries showcase local talents alongside touring exhibitions. The pace allows genuine appreciation of cultural offerings, rather than rushed consumption. Community integration happens organically. Village councils actively welcome new residents. Local clubs, from hiking groups to wine societies, recruit members eagerly. Language barriers dissolve quickly when goodwill exists on both sides, and locals often speak more English than they admit initially. Safety concerns simply don't exist. Police reports focus on agricultural disputes and lost pets. Most residents haven't locked their doors in decades. The concept of crime seems as foreign as the international residents who've discovered this peaceful corner of France. Deuxième, Limoges beyond the porcelain. Beyond its famous porcelain, Haute-Vienne harbors countryside of staggering beauty and affordability that even the French underestimate. Here, rolling hills cascade toward distant horizons, while villages cluster around ancient churches, like flowers around fountains. Morning mist rises from valleys dotted with grazing Limousin cattle, their golden coats matching autumn leaves that carpet forest floors. Stone bridges arch over streams so clear you can count pebbles from 20 feet up. This landscape inspired Impressionist painters, and now it can inspire your retirement. Property values reflect decades of population decline, creating opportunities that seem too good to be true. A 4-bedroom farmhouse with barns and 5 acres, $38,000. A village house with original features and mountain views, $22,000. Stone cottages with half-acre gardens start at $15,000. These aren't derelict properties. They're well-maintained homes in functioning communities. Living expenses maintain the region's reputation for affordability. Monthly utilities run $100, including heating during winter months. Local farmers markets offer lamb for $9 per kilo, fresh vegetables for euros per basket. Village restaurants serve 3-course meals with wine for $15 to $18. Annual property taxes on a $30,000 home rarely exceed $350. The healthcare system operates with typical French efficiency. Regional hospitals in Limoges provide specialist care, including cardiac surgery and oncology. Local doctors maintain practices in larger villages, often covering multiple communities. Prescription drugs follow national pricing schedules, making medication affordable for all residents. Internet infrastructure reaches even remote hamlets through France's Fiber Initiative. Mobile coverage blankets the department. Satellite television provides international channels. Technology doesn't isolate you from rural life. It enhances it by maintaining connections while you enjoy unprecedented peace. Community life thrives through traditional structures that welcome newcomers warmly. Village councils organize festivals celebrating local products and traditions. Hiking clubs explore countryside trails. Craft workshops teach traditional skills like pottery and woodworking. Language exchange groups help foreign residents improve their French, while locals practice English. Crime statistics barely register meaningful incidents. Annual reports list bicycle thefts and boundary disputes as major crimes. Police presence focuses on traffic safety and tourist assistance, rather than crime prevention. Most residents feel safer here than in any previous home. The transformation stories never get old. When James, a retired engineer from Seattle, bought his Haute-Vienne cottage for $28,000, friends thought he'd lost his mind. 2 years later, his monthly expenses total $900. His stress has disappeared, and his only regret is not making the move sooner. I spent 40 years saving for retirement, he reflects. Turns out I was saving for the wrong country. 1. Nièvre, the Burgundy secret that nobody knows. And here, we reach our #1 destination, Nièvre, the Burgundy department that wine tourists bypass. But savvy retirees are quietly discovering. Here, everything that makes Burgundy famous exists without the crushing prices that accompany fame. Dawn breaks over countryside that could illustrate fairy tales. Ancient forests stretch to horizons punctuated by church spires, while meandering rivers reflect clouded skies like liquid mirrors. Medieval villages crown gentle hills, their stone houses weathered to perfect patina by centuries of seasons. This is Burgundy's working countryside, where grapes grow alongside grain fields and cattle graze meadows that border architectural treasures. Canal du Nivernais winds through the department like a liquid highway, its locks and bridges creating scenes of industrial poetry that photographers treasure. The property market here represents perhaps France's greatest secret, a fully restored 4-bedroom house with period details and riverfront garden, $41,000, a village house with workshop and wine cellar, $26,000, even occasional small chateau surface for under $80,000. Less than luxury cars cost in major cities. Properties include features that wealthy urbanites pay fortunes to install: original oak beams, stone fireplaces, wine cellars carved into hillsides, gardens established by generations of careful tending. These aren't just homes. They're lifestyle statements that cost less than down payments elsewhere. Monthly living costs reflect rural French economics at their most generous. Utilities average $105, including heating through cold Burgundy winters. Local markets overflow with regional specialties. Cahors cheese for $7, Burgundy snails for $12 per dozen, wines from local producers for $6 to $15 per bottle. Restaurant meals showcase traditional Burgundian cuisine at prices that defy belief. Coq au vin with local wine costs $19. Beef bourguignon prepared according to grandmother's recipes runs $16. Even Michelin-recommended establishments charge $35 to $45 for tasting menus that would cost $150 in major cities. Healthcare maintains Burgundy's reputation for excellence. Regional hospitals in Nièvre and Creuse provide comprehensive services, including specialized cardiac and orthopedic care. Local doctors maintain practices in larger villages, often covering multiple communities with genuine personal attention that has vanished from urban medicine. The famous French prescription drug system operates seamlessly. Medications cost pennies compared to American prices. Routine consultations cost $28. Specialist appointments rarely exceed $50. For retirees managing chronic conditions, the savings alone justify residence. Cultural life surprises newcomers with its sophistication. Summer festivals celebrate everything from medieval history to contemporary jazz. Chateau visits provide glimpses into aristocratic life. Art galleries showcase local and touring exhibitions. The slower pace allows genuine appreciation rather than hurried consumption. Community integration happens naturally through village life structures, perfected over centuries. Weekly markets become social gatherings where neighbors catch up on local news. Seasonal festivals celebrate regional traditions while welcoming newcomers warmly. Local clubs, from hiking groups to wine societies, actively recruit members. Language barriers dissolve through patient, kind interactions. Many locals speak more English than they initially admit, often learned from previous foreign residents who integrated successfully. Village councils frequently include English-speaking members who help newcomers navigate bureaucracy. Safety concerns simply don't exist in any meaningful way. Crime reports resemble comedy sketches more than serious police matters. Lost cats, disputed property boundaries, unauthorized mushroom gathering in forests. Most homes remain unlocked. Car keys stay in ignitions. The concept of home security systems seems absurd when neighbors wave from distant fields. But before we wrap up, tell us in the comments, which of these regions surprised you most? Are you seriously considering making the move? Or does it still seem too good to be true? The stories of transformation never lose their power. When David and Susan, retired teachers from Denver, purchased their Nièvre cottage for $33,000. Their adult children worried about isolation and language barriers. 3 years later, their monthly expenses total $1,100. They speak conversational French, and their social calendar stays busier than it ever was in Colorado. "We thought we were making a financial decision," Susan explains. "Turns out we were making a life decision. Our stress disappeared, our health improved, and we discovered we'd been living in black and white before experiencing life in full color." These forgotten corners of France offer something increasingly rare in our modern world: the chance to live well on modest means while maintaining dignity, health, and genuine community connection. While coastal France attracts headlines and crushing prices, these inland departments offer everything that makes France magical at prices that make early retirement possible. The French countryside isn't just offering homes, it's offering a different relationship with time, community, and what constitutes a life well lived. For $40,000, you're not just buying property, you're buying access to a lifestyle that prioritizes quality over quantity, depth over speed, and human connection over material accumulation. The infrastructure works flawlessly. The healthcare system provides better care than most Americans receive, and the communities welcome newcomers who arrive with respect and genuine interest in local life. These aren't remote outposts. They're functioning societies that happen to exist at a pace that allows actual living rather than mere survival. The question isn't whether these opportunities will last. Rural French communities actively recruit new residents and offer incentives for permanent settlement. The question is whether you're ready to trade familiar stress for unfamiliar peace, whether you're brave enough to discover that retirement can be an adventure rather than a retreat. Thanks for joining us on this journey through France's forgotten treasures. Don't forget to check out our next video on screen about overlooked retirement destinations in Italy. You'll love it if you enjoy discovering these French secrets. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep planning, and remember that your perfect retirement might be waiting in places you never thought to look.